My name is Amanda Shaker. I am Lurie's parent of 3 kids who you just met, the oldest of whom is my dear Owen, who passed away October of 2020. I want to thank the Lurie Children's team for inviting me here today. I will always welcome any opportunity to talk about Owen and to fight for kids and families facing this fate. Owen loved his siblings and his cousins. He was crushing kindergarten. He was on his school's Lego club and yoga club. He had soccer and gymnastics weekly. He loved ninjas and Friday pizza night. He'd give you the last bite of his favorite cookie, and he'd ask me how my work trip was when I returned, often rolling my luggage bag up to the house for me. He was sweet, sensitive, and he should still be here. Owen was diagnosed in April of 2020, just weeks after the COVID-19 pandemic began. He died at the age of 6 after a brave 5-month battle of DIPG, an incurable brain cancer. I feel it's really important to repeat that there is a pediatric cancer with a 0% survival. This disease is a death sentence. In April of 2020, Owen started slipping on the stairs, running into walls when racing around the house. He didn't complain of anything, so we assumed he was just clumsy. Stir-crazy, perhaps, from being a 5-year-old in a new quarantine world. He was getting taller. We assured ourselves it was a growth spurt. But then we noticed his right eye was crossing. He complained of sensitivity to light and said he felt like a bobblehead. Soon, Owen had great difficulty standing and walking. We were admitted to Lurie Children's on Thursday, April 16th of 2020, with an MRI scheduled the following day. They suspected he had a treatable blood clot or post-concussive syndrome from his falls. I stayed in Owen's room while he had the MRI, and I remember the sigh of relief that we would soon have answers. However, the neurologist came in and suggested we call my husband Adam and have him head downtown immediately, breaking strict COVID one-parent restrictions. They explained they found a tumor in his brainstem, likely DIPG, an incredibly rare and incurable pediatric brain cancer. I remember asking the neurosurgeon what our prognosis was. I needed him to get to the punchline. He thought we had 1 to 2 years. We spent the next 8 hours meeting with child life, radiology, neuro-oncology, hematology, and neurosurgery. That evening, we went home shattered, but it was a Friday, and Owen still expected a pizza night. As we explored clinical trial options, both on our own and with Dr. Angela Wanders, as well as other DIPG centers of excellence, and all trials were phase 1. Everyone advised that our time was limited and should be spent making memories. I cannot tell you how much that hurt. We were ready to fight. And being told that fighting would be fruitless broke us, and it broke my entire family. Treatment for DIPG has not changed in 40 years. Typically, the kiddo receives radiation, which often provides a 6 to 9 month honeymoon stage, as it was described to us, where there is often significant symptom relief. Then there is a resurgence of the tumor, which ultimately leads to the child's death. Owen's story didn't follow this pattern. Owen immediately started steroids, which he was on for 4 months. They caused him to nearly double in weight from 50 pounds to 90 pounds. We did 30 rounds of radiation and then focused on memory making throughout the summer of 2020. We were still trying to hold on to something, some hope that he may get better or at least stay alive until there was a breakthrough. However, all clinical trial options are phase 1 and run the gamut of CAR T-cell therapy to autoimmune treatments to inserting a catheter inside the tumor to administer drugs. And the challenge is that phase 1 trials test varying levels of toxicity to the patient. We knew that Owen wouldn't benefit from a clinical trial in any way, and it could potentially shorten whatever time we had left. So this is a huge crossroads that parents face. How are we supposed to make any breakthroughs in this disease if we're not testing medical theories? But how are we as parents going to allow our child to go through that, knowing there's absolutely no hope? Everything we did was for symptom relief and management and nothing to combat the tumor. We eagerly awaited this honeymoon phase that radiation was supposed to provide. We just kept chasing it, but it never came. In July, we thought we found a roadblock, which was some fluid built up in his brain. Owen had a surgery to address it, but we were in the ER 1 week later with more severe symptoms. We never received symptom relief. We never had a honeymoon period, and there was really no explanation. His MRIs continued to show significant improvement. Our MRI in July showed a 70% reduction from his tumor size from his MRI in April, and his MRI in September showed even more improvement. But because of the marbleization of the tumor, it's very challenging to know what you're up against. The way that he appeared on imaging did not match how he presented clinically. So Owen did 6 rounds of chemo with the intention of getting him off the steroids. His body became dependent on them, and we couldn't wean him off without him getting sick or having the symptoms come back. However, the longer we were on them, the more weight he gained, the more fixated he became with food, and the more they weakened his muscles, making meaningful physical therapy extremely challenging. We had great care from Dr. Angela Wanders and the care team, but because DIPG presents itself differently with each kiddo, there was no real plan for Owen's care or an understanding as to what might happen next. I felt like we were running with a resistant band around our waist. He lost his ability to walk pretty early. He progressively lost his ability to communicate, which led us to using yes, no signs to help us understand his basic needs. He started choking on foods and liquids. He lost his ability to communicate bathroom needs. He woke up in the night screaming without us understanding what was wrong. And although we were living this nightmare and his physical abilities were slipping away very quickly, this kid was a champ. He laughed heartily every day, multiple times a day until the very end. We played a lot of cards, and he made crafts for his friends and his cousins. And when he couldn't hold a paintbrush anymore, he would give us his color choices and corrected us when we didn't include enough glitter. His make-a-wish was to rob a bank because, as you just proved, it was guaranteed to make a laugh. And sadly, he missed his dreams of a bank heist by 4 days. He had a lot of life in him, even though his was slipping away. And it is in that spirit and that disappointment and frustration I felt that no one was fighting for him and that not enough people are fighting for these kids. And the hope that more institutions will follow the lead of Lurie Children's and Dr. DeCyper to address this critical need that brings me here today. Owen's life meant something, and it will continue to mean something. Thank you for supporting Lurie's efforts and for supporting kids like Owen and future kiddos who will face this fate. Thank you for allowing me to share our story and to honor my #1 guy, my Mr. Son, Owen. Thank you.